If all oil filters look practically the same on the outside, why can one cost twice, or even 3 times, as much as another? Many drivers end up buying the cheapest option because, in theory, a filter is just there to stop dirt. As long as it screws on properly and doesn't leak, it should do its job. In this video, we're going to take an in-depth look at whether it's really worth paying 3 times more for a filter, what the differences are between a cheap one and an expensive one, and why this decision could lead to internal engine damage and costly repairs. To understand whether it's worth paying more for a filter, you first need to understand what it's actually doing inside the engine. Oil doesn't just lubricate. It also cools, cleans, and protects. As it circulates, it picks up microscopic metal particles from normal wear, combustion byproducts that seep into the crankcase, carbon deposits, varnish, and small impurities that inevitably form, even in new engines. That wear is completely normal. What's not normal is allowing those particles to keep circulating freely. That's where the filter comes in. The oil filter is designed to trap contaminants before the oil flows back through critical components such as crankshaft bearings, camshafts, hydraulic lifters, or, in modern engines, the turbocharger. These components operate with extremely tight tolerances. We're talking about clearances measured in microns. Remember that term, because it's very important and we'll come back to it later. A particle large enough can cause progressive wear, scoring, or even pressure loss over time. Now here's something important. No filter captures 100% of particles. All of them are designed around a balance between filtration efficiency and flow. If you filter too finely but restrict flow, you risk compromising lubrication. If you allow too much flow without enough filtration, contaminated oil keeps circulating. That's why the internal design matters so much. A filter also doesn't operate under ideal conditions all the time. During a cold start, oil is thicker and pressure increases. At high RPM, flow demand rises. Over long service intervals, the filter media begins to saturate. In each of these scenarios, the filter must continue allowing sufficient flow while still retaining contaminants. And this is where the real differences between filters begin. It's not just about stopping dirt. It's about maintaining a constant balance between efficient filtration, structural strength, and proper flow under varying temperatures and pressures. If that balance fails, oil may start circulating without being properly filtered, or worse, the filter may enter bypass mode prematurely. But don't worry, we'll talk about the bypass system shortly. On the outside, almost all filters look the same. Same thread, same size, same paint. But inside, the design and materials can be very different, and those differences determine how well your engine is actually protected. The first key point is the filter media material, which is literally the heart of the filter. More affordable filters typically use basic cellulose. It works and serves its purpose, but it has limitations in terms of heat resistance and contaminant holding capacity. Over time, that material can saturate more quickly and lose efficiency under high temperatures or elevated pressures, conditions that are common in modern engines, especially turbocharged ones. Mid-range and premium filters, on the other hand, often use synthetic blends or full synthetic microfibers. These materials have a more uniform structure and a greater ability to trap microscopic particles without restricting oil flow. This means they maintain more consistent filtration throughout the entire service interval, not just at the beginning of an oil change. The second important factor is the number of pleats and the total filtration area. If you cut open a filter, you'll notice the material is folded like an accordion. Those pleats determine how much surface area the oil has to pass through and be filtered. A cheaper filter may have fewer pleats or a less efficient layout, reducing the effective filtration area. As a result, the filter can saturate sooner, and the bypass valve may activate earlier than desired, allowing oil to circulate without being properly filtered. A filter with greater surface area not only retains more contaminants but also maintains more stable flow under different operating conditions, from cold starts to high RPM. Another aspect many people overlook is the quality of the housing and internal components, especially the anti-drainback valve and the bypass valve. In lower-cost filters, the anti-drainback valve is often made from conventional rubber, which can harden over time due to heat. If that valve loses flexibility, oil may drain out of the filter when the engine is off, leading to brief periods of insufficient lubrication at startup. Even if those moments last only seconds, they happen every time you start the vehicle, and the cumulative wear can become significant over the long term. Higher quality filters more commonly use silicone valves, which retain their elasticity even at elevated temperatures. This helps ensure oil stays in the system and that pressure stabilizes more quickly at every startup. Finally, there's manufacturing precision. Not all inexpensive filters are defective, but in very low-cost ranges there can be greater variability in quality control. There have been cases where internal adhesive seeps into part of the filter media, pleats are misaligned, or components don't seal with the same precision. Brands that invest more in manufacturing processes tend to offer greater consistency between units, reducing the risk of structural failure under pressure. There's a component inside the filter that almost no one mentions when comparing brands, yet it can make a real difference in engine wear, especially during startup: the anti-drainback valve. This valve is a flexible membrane located at the filter's inlet. Its function is simple but critical: to prevent oil from draining out of the filter when the engine is turned off. Once you shut down the vehicle, gravity tries to pull the oil back into the crankcase. If the filter empties, the system takes longer to rebuild pressure at the next startup, meaning that for a few seconds the engine isn't fully lubricated. And those seconds matter. Most internal engine wear happens during cold starts. At that moment, the oil hasn't yet reached its optimal temperature, its viscosity is higher, and pressure is still stabilizing. If the filter is also empty because the anti-drainback valve isn't sealing properly, the time without effective lubrication increases. Now, not all filters use the same material for this valve. In budget filters, nitrile rubber is commonly used. It works properly at first, but over time and with constant heat exposure, it can harden. When that happens, it loses its sealing ability and may allow oil to slowly drain after the engine is turned off. Higher quality filters often use silicone valves. Silicone handles high temperatures better and maintains flexibility for a longer period. This doesn't mean a cheaper filter will fail immediately, but over extended service intervals or under severe conditions, durability can differ significantly. There's another important detail. In some engines, especially those where the filter is mounted horizontally or at an angle, the anti-drainback valve becomes even more critical. In those cases, if the seal isn't effective, the filter is more likely to empty. In engines where the filter is mounted vertically with the threaded end facing upward, drainage is less problematic, but the valve still plays a role in flow control. In the next section, we'll talk about another internal component that also causes a lot of confusion: the bypass valve and when it actually comes into play. This is where many people are surprised. Yes, there are moments when an oil filter can stop filtering, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's defective. Inside the filter, there's a component called the relief valve or bypass valve. Its job isn't to filter, it's to protect the engine when oil flow becomes restricted. An engine's lubrication system has one absolute priority: oil must always be circulating. Even if that oil isn't perfectly clean, lubrication is far better than no lubrication at all. That's exactly why the bypass valve exists. The bypass valve activates when there's too much restriction in the filter. This can happen in several situations: when the oil is very cold and thick during startup, when the engine is operating at high RPM and demanding greater flow, or when the filter has become saturated with contaminants after many miles. When the pressure difference between the inlet and outlet of the filter exceeds a certain threshold, the valve opens and allows oil to pass without going through the filter media. In other words, the oil circulates, but without being filtered. And this is where differences between filters become important. In a high-quality filter, the bypass valve is precisely calibrated to open only when truly necessary, maintaining the proper balance between protection and flow. In addition, the filter media usually has greater contaminant holding capacity, which delays saturation. In more economical filters, two scenarios can occur. First, the filter media may have less surface area or lower capacity, causing the filter to reach saturation sooner than expected. Second, the bypass valve may not be calibrated as precisely, potentially opening at lower than ideal pressures. If the valve opens prematurely and does so repeatedly, the engine may operate for longer periods with unfiltered oil. A filter with greater filtration capacity and better internal design will reduce the likelihood of oil circulating in bypass mode during normal operating conditions. When someone says a filter filters better, the immediate question should be, better in what sense and under what standard? Because in filtration, we don't talk about brands or price, we talk about microns. A micron is 1/1000th of a millimeter. For reference, a human hair measures roughly 60 to 100 microns in diameter. The particles that can cause engine wear are much smaller, often in the 5 to 25 micron range. Here's the important part. It's not enough for a filter to say, filters down to 20 microns. That phrase alone means nothing unless it's paired with an efficiency percentage. The correct technical way to measure filtration capability is through standardized testing that determines efficiency relative to particle size. In simple terms, capturing 50% of 20-micron particles is not the same as capturing 99% of those same particles. After analyzing materials, valves, microns, and real-world efficiency, the conclusion isn't black and white. Not every budget filter is bad, and not every expensive filter is automatically better for your specific situation. The key lies in your vehicle type, how you use it, and your maintenance interval. A budget filter can make perfect sense in a naturally aspirated engine, without a turbo, used for normal commuting. No towing, no aggressive driving, and relatively frequent oil changes. If maintenance is done every 5,000 to 7,000 kilometers and the filter meets the manufacturer's OEM specifications, it will most likely perform adequately throughout its service life without reaching critical saturation levels. In that scenario, the system isn't under severe stress, the bypass valve won't be constantly active, and the filter media won't be pushed to its limits. It can also make sense in older, high-mileage vehicles where the owner doesn't plan to extend oil change intervals or subject the engine to demanding conditions. In those cases, paying a premium for a high-end filter may not provide a tangible benefit if maintenance is consistent and conservative. However, the situation changes with modern engines equipped with direct injection, turbochargers, start-stop systems, or extended service intervals. In these engines, oil operates under higher thermal and mechanical stress, and microscopic particles can affect components with much tighter tolerances. Here, a filter with greater contaminant holding capacity, better micron efficiency, and more precisely calibrated valves can make a meaningful difference over the long term. It also makes sense to choose a higher quality filter if you're using synthetic oil with extended drain intervals. The filter must remain effective for more miles, and a media with greater surface area and stronger construction will delay saturation and reduce how often the bypass valve activates. Another clear case is severe use. Frequent towing, high-temperature operation, repeated short trips where the engine never reaches optimal temperature, or spirited driving. Under these conditions, the lubrication system works harder, and filtration quality becomes more relevant. So the right question isn't expensive or cheap? It's, what does my engine demand, and how am I using it? If a budget filter meets the required standard, is replaced on time, and the vehicle isn't operated under severe conditions, it can be sufficient. But if the engine is more complex, intervals are extended, or you want to maximize long-term protection, investing in a higher quality filter stops being an expense and becomes a preventive decision.